It's that time of year. If you're looking for an excellent gift for a tabletop role-playing game fan in your life, I've got a few recommendations for some really unique and fun stuff. Now, I bought a ton of TTRPGs and adventures and related hobby stuff this year, and I want to share some of my favorites with you. I'll have links to everything I talk about in this video down in the description. Okay, let's jump straight in and start with So You Want to Be a Game Master by Justin Alexander. Now, if you have someone that's interested in starting to run a tabletop role-playing game, a new DM, or even someone like me who just wants to get better at DMing, this is a great pickup. It's basically what a wonderful Dungeon Master's Guide looks like. It's full of practical advice. It starts with how to run just a simple dungeon and then covers stuff like how to run a mystery or a heist or a city or wilderness adventure. Now, I haven't finished it yet because it is a big book, but don't let that intimidate you. It's full of helpful nuggets of wisdom from Justin Alexander, the Alexandrian blog, wonderful resource for dungeon masters compiled into this awesome book that's going to make running games just so much easier. Okay, the first game I want to talk about is this awesome Saturday morning cartoon vibe game called Cosmosaurus by Diogo Nogueira. It's got art by Lucas Kowalczyk and the layout is by Condijo. I'm saying all of the names wrong, I apologize. Anyway, this is a great D6 system that's super easy and quick to run. Players are dinosaur space rangers taking on undead pirates and fascist mutant broccoli people. And games like Cosmosaurus are my absolute favorite kind of games. They're light but full of flavor and fun. This might be a small package at 72 pages, but it has absolutely everything you need to run an excellent adventure right here in this wonderful, colorful hardback book. Similar but very different, we have Perils and Princesses by Ryan Lynch. This is another game that is so full of flavor and mechanics that work to reinforce the fantasy of being a badass princess fighting evil. Players will obviously be playing princesses. They choose their gift. That's like their princess class, and they get lots of fun items, and there's absolutely wonderful spell list and a great help mechanic. There's lots of thematic random tables and bestiary for creating your own adventures and even a one-shot adventure to get things started. The art and the layout is amazing and thematic, and I'm really excited to run this one for some friends in the new year. Now, if you're familiar with my other videos, you know I'm a sucker for a good box set, and at Gen Con, I could not resist picking up the Bane box set from Free League. The box comes with rules, a whole setting, and a bunch of adventures. There's item cards, there's dice, and a bunch of monster and NPC tokens. I'm absolutely in love with all of the art by Johan Egerkrans. I apologize for the name pronunciations in this video. Here's another one. Francesca Berald did the world map. Just look at this thing. The system is a D20 roll under with a bunch of skills. It's got some fun mechanical twists. So if you're looking for a game to try out instead of 5e, this is a great way to get started and still play in a fantastical and heroic world. I mean, you get to play as these awesome looking duck people. It's worth picking up just for that. Okay, this next one is super cool. It's called Electric Mangrove by the Dead Robots. It's an adventure where a meteor has fallen into this swamp, and now these alien robots are replicating themselves and causing all this trouble. Players will explore and figure out what's going on, but if their boat disintegrates and they end up having to walk and travel through the water, they get mutated in all these fun ways. It's a fantasy adventure, but there are alien robot things, and oh yeah, this adventure is also a record, like an LP, so you can put on the record and listen to some wonderful, funky, swampy, alien robot sounding music while you play. The packaging is amazing, the adventure is fun, the music is really great, And I just think this would make a totally awesome gift. Okay, let's get into some zines. I love zines so much. I think they're the best way to share really excellent gaming experiences in a shorter, more digestible package. I just love making zines. I have a bunch of one-shot adventures and guidebooks for creating dungeons and drawing maps and even entire games inspired by some of my childhood favorites. If you're looking for a smaller, more whimsical gift for a TTRPG fan in your life, check out my online shop. But I also want to tell you about a couple of my favorite zines that I've gotten this year. One of them is called Archon Ruins by Alex Damasceno, aka Gnarled Monster. This zine is a wonderful setting and adventure. It's obviously inspired by Tears of the Kingdom and Elden Ring in the best possible way. Totally my jam. It's filled with these gorgeous isometric maps. There's an overworld to explore, an underworld. There's 6 dungeons, NPCs, monsters, magic items. There's these treasure hunter guys and arcane scholars and these weird crystals and a bunch of pot monster, like clay pot monsters. This year I've kind of gone back to this zine over and over because I just love how, well, one, I love how it looks, and I also love how economical it is. Like, so much of the setting is conveyed in the art, and then the descriptions of the locations are open-ended, so players and DMs are really gonna be able to make the story their own. You can run this adventure with any fantasy system you want, and if you're looking for a colorful Elden Ring, Tears of the Kingdom inspired adventure, you can't go wrong with the Archon Ruins. Also, I think you could totally run this game solo if you wanted. And speaking of solo, one of my favorite zines I got this year was Miru. Well, actually Miru II, the sequel to Miru. These zines are a solo game where you play as a lone adventurer seeking revenge on a robot god. It's a super cool, like, hex scroll exploration game with a bunch of random encounters. So you draw a map as you play and create this story, and as you explore, you build up your skill and inventory and hopefully survive this robot god's wrath. I love the design of these zines, and it's super fun to spend an hour rolling some dice and flipping back and forth through the pages. I haven't played many solo games, but if they're all like this, I really should play a lot more. And you should absolutely get both games. They connect and form a story together that's really wonderful. Okay, the next one on my list is great for someone who is maybe interested in fantasy stuff but hasn't quite made the jump into TTRPGs yet. It's called Into the Tower by Harry Connor. It's a wonderfully illustrated choose-your-own-adventure book with some RPG elements added on top. There are 4 character classes to choose from, and you'll be trying to make it to the top of this tower, reading through this story that's unfolding before you and making these tough decisions as you try to survive the gauntlet before you. I got eaten by a giant fish on my first playthrough, so I'm pretty eager to jump back in and try and make it to the top of the tower. Okay, so I've mentioned a lot of books on this list, but maybe you want to get something a little different for a special DM in your life. Check out the link to Trash Mob Minis. They have tons and tons of paper miniatures for a great price. You can print them out and assemble them yourself and then give them as a gift. The minis have a wonderful cartoony style, and if you get a big enough collection going, they really can elevate the look of your table and your game. I think paper miniatures are a great way to get something inexpensive, put a little bit of your own time into it, and have a really awesome looking and super useful gift to give. I got one more book, but this isn't a game or an adventure. It's called Monsters, Aliens, and Holes in the Ground. It's by Stu Horvath of the Vintage RPG podcast, and this book is crazy awesome. It's part history, part index of tabletop role-playing games. It's divided by decade and feels totally comprehensive. I've only scratched the surface of this book because it just came out, but I'm so excited to learn about these games from a hobby I love so much, but still feel sort of new to. The chapter illustrations by Kyle Patterson are absolutely outstanding. If you're looking for a gift for a real TTRPG enthusiast, this is the one. Okay, that's my list of 10 gift recommendations, some of my favorite from this year. Let me know if you have any recommendations down in the comments. I love to hear about new games and new adventures and just anything tabletop role-playing game. Check out the links in the description to all the fun stuff I mentioned. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!